Podcast kláštera.
Greetings from the Broumov Monastery, where we are hosting the 7th annual Illustration Symposium. Meet this year foreign participants through our traditional podcast from the monastery and stay updated on all the happenings via our profiles on Facebook, Instagram or our website www.symposiumillustrace.cz. The podcast is hosted by Michaela Režová, and who is in the spotlight today?
Podcast kláštera.
Matija Medved works in the field of illustration, graphic, drawing, painting, animation and graphic design. He lives and works in Ljubljana, Slovenia, where he's also studied at the Academy of Arts and Design. He designs posters, illustrates books, newspapers and magazines, and as an illustrator also collaborates with successful foreign media and brands such as Bloomberg Businessweek, the New York Times, Time Magazine, Forbes, Medium, Apple, etc. His works have been awarded multiple times, and his awards include 1 golden and 2 silver medals awarded by the Society of American Illustrators. He is member of a group ensemble. Hello.
Hi.
How are you enjoying your residency so far? What are you working on and planning to do here?
It's great. I will be making a mural, this every year tradition for this symposium. And but before that I was just working on preparing a graphics that I made years ago. So I wanted to prepare it for silkscreen printing. And then I was just thinking what I could do with the mural, and after that I also have an idea of with something. Maybe I will paint a big cloth, big piece of textile to hang it somewhere, but still working on that. Not sure if that's gonna go through.
Okay, so you use the time for your long-term project, which are at home usually. You don't have a time to so much to focus on, and also you are inspired by this environment to make a piece here.
Yeah, something like that. Not that I don't have time at home, I just don't take it. Yeah, when I'm free, I would rather, relax.
Yeah, I understand.
Hang out with friends or whatever, yeah.
You've worked with some big name clients. How did your career begin?
You mean how did my career begin with the foreign media, or like just in general?
Maybe in general, and how you get to these big names.
This was I think just when I finished bachelor's. After, we have a 3+2 year program, so it's a bachelor and a master's, but I took a year off to really focus on my bachelor's project. And with that project, I got some awards at the Slovenian illustration biennial, and that helped me get some serious projects. So I guess that was like when I was 25. I guess that's when it started, and then slowly, working with foreign media, that's maybe a longer story. I have a friend who studied at Yale, and then after his studies, he worked for Bloomberg Businessweek. So he was actually the first one to introduce me to American media. This lasted for I think a year. Then he moved back to Slovenia, and all the other clients followed up kind of by themselves, I think. Except for New York Times, I when I was in New York, I visiting actually my friend. He told me that it's a standard practice that you can just write an email and that you're in town and that you would like to, show them or present them your work. And so I did that, and I wrote to quite a lot of art directors, but I got one reply out of, I don't know, I think I've sent probably 50 emails, but so I got one reply. The reply was from Tala Safi, I think I hope I pronounced her name right, and Tracy May, I mean, Tracy didn't reply, but she was at the meeting. And actually, she then gave me the first editorial for New York Times 4 months later. I was beginning to think nothing is going to happen. They were just nice, maybe. So leave me hanging without a reply. But yeah, I got a project 4 months later. And then, yeah, so the rest kind of followed organically.
So it's more like a snowball now, like that from the first success or first connection and first illustration. Now they are reaching you to work for them, for Origin Media, or you still looking writing some emails to?
No, the only email I wrote was to New York Times. I didn't reach out to anyone beforehand. But you know, I know that it's a practice, and like if you want some work, you should do that. Yeah.
Do you handle all communication yourself, or do you have an agent or some help on the site?
No, I handle all the communication myself, but I would not. You know, I would like to have an agent, but mostly not to just reply emails, but maybe to find me some bigger, more interesting projects. So editorial, I don't think I would need an agent for that, but just maybe more, whatever else is there actually. Whatever is not editorial, yeah.
And do you still work for Slovenia or on some Slovenian projects, or mostly are you illustrating for Origin?
Oh no, I think it's like 50-50 to Slovenian illustration and then the rest.
And your artistic style covers a wide spectrum. How do you approach different type of work, like editorial, children's illustration, posters?
I try to focus on what the content that I have to illustrate is and what I think would be best for it. Yeah, then I go on from there. But of course, the techniques that I use, these are all techniques that I've tried working at some point. So it's not like I'm completely starting from zero every time. But I do like to experiment, and like try different things. I just find it more fun. Mm-hmm. But there are moments where I think like, why can't I just do one thing and life could be much easier? But I also find it kind of hard to just create in one style. I think that's also certain expertise that you can create a a big range in the same style, but still kind of remain interesting. I find that also maybe even harder than just make every illustration different. Mm-hmm. So maybe also what I wanted to add is that of course I can do series, but I find that quite hard to make actually.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask about the experiment. What does it mean for you? Are you like trying new tools or like new techniques, like combination of handmade and digital, or what? If you say I'm experimenting,
well, maybe
how does it
look like? It's something I don't think about. It's I just work. So it's hard to put this in words. I haven't actually thought about it.
And do you like to, is it important for you to balance like digital and handmade techniques?
After university, the academy, I mainly worked just with traditional techniques. Actually avoided digitally. I thought it looked kind of. I have to think. What did I thought of? What did I think about digital illustration? I knew some illustrators that I thought were making great work just digitally, but I didn't know how to work in a way that I would be happy, so that it wouldn't look too flat. But later, I kind of embraced this, look that the computer gives you, and could give. Yeah, then I just experimented a little bit with different options, and I don't know. Now I just think digital illustration can look fine as well. So I don't mind if it's flat.
And what kind of projects do you enjoy the most?
Yeah, I prefer projects where they say, hey, we need this, but you can do whatever you think is best. It doesn't hurt if there is a theme, but I also maybe prefer it even more if there is no theme. So I can do basically whatever, which is kind of contradictory. I guess that means that I should be a painter or something, which, this was actually my dream before I went to study illustration. I wanted to be a painter, an artist. But I was kind of worried or afraid if, how am I going to survive by just making paintings. I didn't know if, you can really live off that, at least in Slovenia. So that's why I decided for illustration.
And do you still paint?
Well, no, that's the thing. So this is why I was planning on doing here.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I will paint after I finish the mural.
And do you sketch a lot during your process?
Yeah, I sketch a lot. I don't just. I know I saw Elžbieta. She makes of course I see she makes a sketch, but it's quite rough, and then she just goes for it. I'm not like that. I don't just go for it. I think I'm maybe too much of a control freak, and I think I want things to be done in a certain way that I envision, and not all the time. Sometimes I just let loose and just whatever happens. But most of the time, I when working for clients, I wanted it to look a certain way. But when I'm just doing whatever stuff that I'm doing here, yeah, I'm more relaxed. I can let things happen. So then I sketch less. But when I work for projects, yeah, I sketch a lot.
And how is it process with when you're working for the clients? Are you sending the sketch, or you have it like a free hands and you can just send the finished piece? And because we talk about that, if we look on your work, there is many ways how you working. Like you have some artistic spectrum or something. And maybe if the clients are usually drawn to something specific when you are working, and if you have maybe space to surprise them or do something differently. Maybe that's the question.
That's a good question, yeah. First I'll go with how does it normally look, yeah. So they send me a text, and if it's like a cover story or something like that, or it's a bit more delicate, then they kind of know what they want, or at least what they don't want. So they have a kind of a vision of what they think should be illustrated. But mostly they just send a text and, you play around with ideas. Yeah, then you send sketches, they approve one, and yeah, then you just go for it. And there could be some minor tweaks in the finals, but mostly it's okay as it is. Now regarding the second question, it depends. Sometimes they're like, hey, we saw this work and we thought of you, which means we want you to do it in this style.
Mm-hmm.
It's and sometimes it's they're free. I can do whatever. They let me experiment. But I think that most of the time they still would kind of like to know in which direction I would go. I think that art directors still have to convince their own bosses, or not convince them, maybe also just kind of defend their decision. And so they're putting a lot of trust in you, and I think it's normal that they can't just kind of gamble with what they will get. So most of the time, it's still kind of like you can do whatever, meaning probably whatever direction from your website. But yeah, sometimes people are also, you can try or experiment. But this I found mostly with Slovenian clients. I think they, I don't know why, but yeah, mostly I could truly experiment with Slovenian clients. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we can go to Slovenia now. Can you tell us a bit more about Slovenian illustration scene?
I think the majority is still work for children, just because of our legacy of the publishing houses that we had and still have that were quite strong in the Yugoslavia. Of course, there's also work for adults, but there was a decline after the financial crisis in 2008, and I think it's slowly coming back. But and I guess also this profession of illustration is sort of getting traction in Slovenia.
Do you have also, it's like growing to, because you are also part of artistic group, so we can...
You mean ensemble?
Yeah. So we can get to that, but maybe before that, like we also spoke with Czech illustrators about that little collectives and things like that's really growing, also like across the Europe. Do you have something similar that like probably young Slovenian illustration scene is like active to do some things and do them together, or it's more like individuals?
I would say it's more individuals, but here I would have to mention Center of Illustration that is kind of a new thing we have. So it's an organization that is preparing, organizing certain master classes, events, talks with different people from the field, also from abroad. And that I think is like the most serious thing that is happening in the illustration field in Slovenia. There are some small collectives. I just couldn't say that they're just illustration collectives. They're collectives, but they are usually a mix of fine artists and whatever from different fields. So I don't know if that's illustration.
And is it similar for your group, like that?
And it's similar for our group. Yeah, I'm the only illustrator, and then there's a photographer, there's a graphic designer, and there's a architect. And there's like, I don't know what I would call it, multimedia artist or something like that. We rarely work together, all together. I don't think that's ever happened, but like we just had a project where 4 of us worked on an identity for Center Rog. That's also one of the projects that I got a silver medal for in New York. But yeah, I mean, this is regarding the collectives. I wouldn't say that there's a big collective that's pushing it forward. It's probably just Center of Illustration, yeah.
And you mentioned now your award, and we also said that you have many of them. Do any of them hold special significance for you? And if so, why?
Well, so when I mentioned it in the beginning, when I finished my bachelor's project, which was like a very big picture book, I got an award, and that award really spoke to me. I mean, meant a lot because I got some recognition from outside of the academy, and that really gave me confidence. Plus, it also gave me some spotlight, which is why I got some projects right after, like a year later, quite big projects for Slovenian standards. But the other awards, so the awards that I got in New York, those were also amazing. Maybe not as important, like in a way that I would felt this enormous like push, like from the award I got when I was 25, just because I really needed that for my confidence boost. But this is also very dear to me because when I was, when I decided I wanted to be an illustrator and I was Googling what illustrators exist, I found out about Society of Illustrators, and I always dreamed about that maybe one day I would get a golden medal or whichever medal. So that was quite crazy that then, I got it. And I actually got 3 in the same year. And that also was kind of some sort of confirmation, also not from just the Slovenian scene, but also from abroad. I find it also, means a lot to me as well. But I wouldn't say that changed my confidence in a way like how the first award impacted me.
Can you tell us a bit more about your daily routine or creative habit? Do you have something which helps you to stay creative?
So, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to be honest and say that I don't do anything like that. I just when the work is done, I am free, and then so no, I don't have the discipline, or I don't know what it is. Maybe it's also I don't feel the need to I don't, maybe the word express myself. I don't know. I just don't have the need to give. To let some thoughts or whatever creative force loose, go out of me in the form of drawing or painting. Maybe there was a time when I was in high school, just before deciding to study illustration, when I did that, but now it's, and I don't know why is it like that actually, because I've been thinking about it, and maybe it's because when you work, when you draw for a living, kind of reminds you of the work you do to survive, and then it's kind of hard to keep that as a hobby that you're passionate about. So unfortunately I don't work for myself. I don't work on personal projects, though I would wish I would, but I just don't. Don't rather work on in my garden or something like that.
We are here on Czech Symposium of Illustration. Are you familiar with the Czech illustration scene, or maybe through the symposium you have more chance to be more familiar with that?
I thought I knew the Czech scene, but now I see that there's so much more to discover. So I think I have a lot to learn. Yeah. So this is a great experience for me. I'm happy I came. Czech illustrators that I know and I love very much is Jiří Šalamoun, and another one is, I think, is he also Jiří? I think he was also an animator. Something on it's
Trinka?
Trinka, yeah. And there's more, but right, and then Peter Sis, I love him. Yeah. Oh my God, yeah, Peter Sis. So I know about Czech illustration, but maybe just like these old figures. Old. Well, yeah. Masters. But not so much about the contemporary scene. Yeah, that I didn't know that much. So yeah, that's why I'm happy that I'm learning more about it. And yeah, for example, Alžběta, I didn't know, but they told me that she's like a illustration star in Czech Republic, and yeah, I'm also a big fan.
Okay, so that's all from me. I'm happy that you are happy here, and good luck with all of your projects which you would like to finish here. And it was a pleasure to talk with you, and thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for all the questions.
Podcast z kláštera.